Good morning, traders. Today is Wednesday, March 16th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, what are we looking at here this morning? Well, we've got a gap up last night, or a gap up. We'll have a gap up when we open. There you go. So the first order of business is the gap fill, the market trying to push its way down to yesterday's high. It's a very high probability play that the market will try to fill the gap. This is a pretty big gap, so we may not fill it all the way, but that is the first order of business. The overnight inventory is net long, so they probably need to pull back in a little bit. And then you add on to that the fact that people, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy that people short gaps trying to fill them. So those two things in combination kind of increase the odds that we will at least try to fill the gap. Now, wherever the market finds support, that gives us a clue as to what we might expect moving forward in the day. So if the market pulls back down here and it finds support somewhere inside the gap, that is bullish. Also, if it pulls down and it finds support at yesterday's high, at 42.6350, that would also be bullish for continuation. Both of those scenarios are what we call a gap and go, and that's about as bullish as the market can be. Okay. Now, we also had a spike up yesterday, so that spike up was bullish, and opening above the spike, which meant spike rules were in play, opening above the spike is also extremely bullish. So you've got a gap and go and a spike up. Those two in combination are a clear signal from the market that something has changed and that the market is making a new move. It is creating excess to the upside. Okay. So when I zoom out and I look at the daily, I see that we're starting to push our way through this downtrend, this really stronger sort of downtrend that we've had in the market. I'm also noticing now a much clearer, horizontal balancing area. So we've been, over the last few days, we've been trying to figure out, we know the market's been balancing, but we've been trying to figure out what is the balancing range. And it just looks like it's a very, very large balancing area. And so you can see we had a balancing area, a week ago over here. When we broke out, we got excess to the downside, right? At least the size of the balance area. So we can assume the same if we do break out to the upside. Right? Let's say this is our balance area. If we did break out to the upside, we could expect a pretty big move. Okay? Now, all of that is bullish. Every single thing I've just listed to you is bullish. Now let's look at the opposite end of the argument. What if today we pull back down, right? What if by close today we've pulled the market back down into yesterday's range? Well, now we've once again rejected off this downtrend and rejected off this 20 moving average on the daily. So that would be bearish for a trade down to the opposite end of balance, which would be around yesterday's lows. Okay. So yes, right now in this moment, it is bullish with potential to become very, very bullish if we break out of this larger downtrend. But the market must prove itself, and today will be that day. So first order of business is that gap fill. Do we get it or not? If we don't fill the gap and we just continue higher, that is extremely bullish. It is also worth noting we built this move on a lot of weakness, right? The low that we created on the 14th was a poor low. And yesterday, every single push higher was on weak references, even into the spike. So there is a lot of weakness below. Just something to put in the back of your mind. Doesn't mean afraid to be bullish. It just means be aware that this market needs to pull back at some point. All right, well, so far this is bullish. We got the gap and go. They only went a few ticks down below the opening price. They made good taper on the lows, and now they're pushing higher. But I would just caution you, we haven't absorbed that overnight activity yet. There's still a lot of long trades in here that need to take profits. So to me, this is a FOMO. I would not get into a long trade here. I would wait either to retest this support or try to fill the gap a little bit, which we do still need to do. CCT, normally the ticks need back towards the zero line. Correct. Yeah. Normally, if you open with your ticks above positive 1,000, they need to pull back in at least a little bit. But if they find support up here, that's new buyers. That's bullish. All right, I'm bullish. That's twice now they've pulled back, and they haven't gotten anything for it. So we've got FOMO traders in charge of the market here. And it will shock you how far they can push it. Obviously, a lot of resistance over here in the cumulative between where price currently is and like 43.29. If we get through that, I'd say we're going to fill this old gap we left behind on the 4th up to 43.41. On a pullback, we can now look for support around halfback 43.03-ish. That area could hold on a pullback for the next push. Okay, third time today. We've just pushed higher, created a node of volume, pushed higher, created a node of volume, pushed higher, created a node of volume. We're not getting any pullbacks. That is a sign of a trend to the upside. Still got a lot of resistance to get through here, though, so I'm looking at that halfback for support. 43.04. Good morning, Dean, Design Knob, Jose, David, good to see you. Chris Yee, Diego, Arthur, Scooball, Bossman, Amir, Rev, Phoenix, Greg, everyone is here. CCT, Philip. Greg, are you ready to rumble? Are you ready to rumble? Hustler Forever, good morning to you. Design Knob, Daddy is speaking today, yes. Papa Powell will be doing his FOMC thing today. So they'll be releasing those notes at 2 p.m. Expect a crazy move in the market. And then Papa Powell will speak to Congress and expect a lot of volatility during that. And we'll be live here once again. I'm going to leave in an hour for the private stream, but then we'll come back at 2 p.m. for the FOMC. So if anybody's interested in hanging out then, come on back. We'd be happy to have you. Mike, good morning to you. Jay Trader, good to see you. CCT. Alex, welcome. Steven, good morning to you. CCT, I thought raising of interest rate might pull the market back a bit. No, it's already priced in. That's what's so interesting about this. I was looking at this morning and I was like, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on and you want to be a real conspiracy theorist, right? I was looking at this chart and I was saying to myself, and then I looked at Financial Juice and I saw something about Russia. Now I can't find it. They had said something about like they could see, a case for some sort of peace. Anyway, and I just thought, man, wouldn't it be interesting if right at the moment that we're breaking out of a downtrend, we got some good news, right? Like, oh my God, this market would just like a rocket ship shoot straight up because right now all of the fear is already priced in. Inflation fears priced in. World War III fears priced in. Can you imagine what good news could do to this market right now? Rocket, the FOMO has been going up since last night on very thin volume. Big money is waiting for the Fed. I don't know, man. I mean, certainly this push is on thin volume, but bigger money may have repositioned themselves over here on the 24th. But yeah, this is all weak. Weak. Doggy says, good morning. I'm either too smart or too dumb to be trading this price action. I know exactly what you mean. I would just say, for me, the thing that really stood out was the spike up yesterday, which I was shocked we got the spike up. I was shocked we closed in the spike. And then when we had the gap up this morning, and we only went 2 points below there, that was like okay, I'm wrong here. The opposite of what I think should happen is happening, which is this FOMO buying. David Glass, good morning to you. Scooball, and now the market learn a lot of people to jump into a trade ASAP, and they will pay in the future. Yeah. Unless they take profits beforehand. Bao is here too. Are you going to live stream during the Fed? I am. I is. FRM, good morning to you. Malcolm, the markets are just one front page. The markets are just one front page from all-time highs. It's true. I don't know about all-time highs, but from a big push. A case could be made, even if we were going to have like a recession, we'd get some kind of a bounce looking for resistance. All-time highs are really far away, though. Big Ray thinking it'll sell off this afternoon. It'll do everything this afternoon, right? As we have learned, when that FOMC meeting happens, the market will start doing like, it'll just start like crazy moves. The whole time Powell is speaking, it'll be all over the place. So there's definitely going to be some fireworks. All right, looking for support at the halfback, 43.07. If that doesn't hold, I'll take myself back to a neutral stance because if they break below halfback, they're probably going to head back down to try to fill the gap a little bit. So I don't want to be long. But that support would be a good buy. Trading Donkey, smart volume fund guy Chris Siddell tweeted this morning that the price action is not great for bulls going into the FOMC. So let's think about what might come out of the Fed and what the price action might be. I consider it cemented in stone that they're hiking 25 basis points. Anything else would be a shock. Real news will be the quantitative tightening schedule. I don't think they're going to tell us the schedule. I think he just keeps saying it's going to run in the background. Don't worry about it. It's just going to run in the background. They will sell off MBS. Will they replace MBS holding with treasuries? 2 months ago, I made 20K. Oh, that's Big Ray. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, as always with the FOMC, I always, every single time going into it, having no clue how the market's going to react. Because even when they give good news, it doesn't necessarily go up. Sometimes they give good news and it goes down. Sometimes they give bad news and it goes up. You just can't guess ahead of time what it's going to do. But we've got hours and hours between then and now. Plenty of opportunity to make money. Okay, just to be clear, the FOMO buyers are still in control. We got this low volume node right here that would like to have a little more business done in it. We usually like to see at least 200 contracts. They're that close to it over and over. They keep poking, and they still can't even get to here? They can't even get that little of a dip? That's FOMO, my friends. It will shock you how far they can push it. Greg H. Just like Jay Powell, we should remain nimble and humble. He certainly is nimble with his words. He can say a whole lot without saying anything. I'll give him credit for that. Okay, so obviously if we're going to get continuation, we need to see the tick start pushing higher. Right now they're trending lower. They are finding support at the 0 line, which is bullish, but we need to stop the downward trend and begin an upward pretty soon here. If we're going to remain bullish. All right, well, finally the market's getting a pullback here, so let's see if the buyers step in. I would say if 04 breaks, they're probably going to try to go fill that gap. All right, and with that, the momentum has ended. That's actually not that great for such a strong gap and go. You'd expect it to last longer than 20 minutes. But okay, so the next order of business is potential support just above the opening price there, but I don't know if that's really going to hold. You'll start to squeeze out these buyers up here, and so you'll probably push right through that. Then the next order of business will be the gap fill to the downside. Okay, so now will support become resistance? This node right here was acting as strong support this morning. So does this become resistance? Are we not able to push our way back through it? If so, we remain neutral. If we are able to get through it, it should act as support once again, which would be bullish. A little volume cliff there at 43.15. Screwball, look above and fail. What are you talking about? Look above and fail. Look above and succeed. We're on a giant gap. All right, bullish once again. They got through the resistance. They have the ticks once again. They're about to break that downtrend. And we still have a gap and go on top of a spike up. As I said before, if we can get through this node on the cumulative here, get through 43.27, I think the target becomes 43.41. CCT, that's actually what I saw earlier this morning. That's been out for a while. That was the one I referred to as like a conspiracy theory, that it happened so perfectly with the breakout of the downtrend. Okay, so we're through that cumulative resistance. We got very thin volume, so we do need to pull back at some point and backfill this. But I think the target to the upside is that gap we left behind on the 4th. Looking for resistance at 43.41. Trading Donkey, don't ridicule Schoolball. You called the end of the trend breaking 04. Are you saying I called for it on the 4th? Yeah. Well, I was wrong. I was probably right when I called it, though, and then it just pulled back down by the end of the day, which it could do today. Like I said, when I talked about that downtrend breaking, I said, go back and listen to the first 5 minutes. I said, if we close above it today, which is, I'm guessing what I said there as well. Okay, look, we got this really thin volume. Obviously, that was short covering, right? A bunch of the people who went short in here, recognizing they're wrong. Oh, when I went back to neutral, yeah. But I stayed in a long trade. So I'm still making money for being right. There's a difference between going neutral, saying I might be wrong, I'm uncertain, and saying I'm bearish, and I think the market's going to go down. Those are two different things. See, but that's where I argue with you, Donkey. I don't feel like I'm guessing. I feel like I'm using market-generated information and interpreting it. My interpretations can be wrong, and the market can be random and just do something else. But I'm not just guessing. I'm not just throwing out ideas. I'm using the signals that I'm being given in real time as they're happening, based on the statistics in the past of what happens when I see those things. So that to me is very different than just guessing. It's always a gamble because the market is random. But I do believe I have an edge in my ability to read the market-generated information. Fooling myself into thinking I'm not guessing. Agree to disagree. Let's not drag this one out. I believe I have an edge based on market-generated information. And that's all I need to make money in the market. All right, so the initial push up was short covering. Now we're starting to get the new money buying. Do we have enough here? Can we keep those ticks above the zero line? If so, the target is still 43.41. And it's worth noting we only have 2 contracts on the high. That needs a little more two-sided trade up there. Okay, now that we've printed the C period, we've left this set of single prints behind here on the B period. So that slightly increases the odds that we might need to trade down to 43.2250, looking for support there. You combine that with the thin volume, it's pretty good odds we need to look for support at that B period high for continuation higher. And with that, I shall bid you all farewell. Wish you the best. As I said, I will be back at 2 p.m. to watch the market react to those FOMC notes coming out. So if you guys are still trading, come on back and hang out with us then. Thank you so very much. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Oh, also, if you've been considering purchasing the e-course, if you've been watching me for a while and listening to me talk about this stuff, if you heard me say spike up yesterday at the end of the day and we closed inside the spike and then we had a gap up and we didn't fill the gap, if all of this is like, what on earth is this guy talking about? How did he know when we were down here that we were going to get this big push up? The e-course would be what you're looking for. And today and today only, it's 25% off. So get it while the getting is good. Thanks a lot.